JS Racing. We're in the game.
Gentlemen, start your engine!
Drivers, start your printers.
To keep pace with the ever-changing landscape of marketing and advertising, let Clark Print Shop help you spot the trends and keep you in front of the pack with all your color printing needs. From business cards to invitations, menus to mugs, we can print anything you need on paper or your choice of over 3,000 promotional items. Visit www.clarkprintshop.com to browse our online catalog and place your order today, or call us at 276-889-3426. For a limited time, use the code iRacing for 23% off your first purchase. The staff at Clark Print Shop looks forward to handling all your color printing needs.
Walking and Rolling Costumes started when my son Reese was born with cancer.
So when I was 3 years old, I got my first wheelchair.
And he wanted to be Wall-E for Halloween that year. And so I knew you couldn't buy a costume to go on a wheelchair at that time, so I knew I had to build one.
My dad ended up building a Wall-E costume out of a Dell computer box.
When we were all finished, he loved it. We took pictures of it and shared it on social media. So many people started sharing it that we started getting requests from people we didn't know.
In 2015, we decided to build them for other kids because people were asking, hey, can you build them for my kid?
So we started the nonprofit organization, Walking and Rolling Costumes, and we build costumes for kids all over the nation, free of charge to the families.
There's 3 races left in the season, and there's no better time to find a victory at a racetrack that's bigger than all the others. 2.66 miles in Lincoln, Alabama. We could find a new winner in Victory Lane. It's a limited list with Philip Brewer on 6 wins. He has the points lead coming into tonight, but this is Talladega, live here on V-Speed. It's the Saturday Night Racing League Challenger Series. 3 races left in the playoffs, and here we go. Jeff Wright, Bradley Cooper up in the broadcast booth. A little hiatus, and hope you guys had a happy Thanksgiving. Jeff, you were off there the week prior to Thanksgiving. Short track racing, I gotta say, it was It was a little long one. I mean, back-to-back short tracks, Martinsville, Bristol, a lot of different attitudes about that race. But what I can say, it was action-filled and definitely have some storylines for this week.
Yeah, I mean, you said it. I've been away for a while, Bradley, and what a track to come back to, you know, being Talladega. And we're in the playoffs. We're in the chase. Such an important race tonight. Philip Brewer coming into tonight with, you know, a dominant season, 6 wins to his name. He's only 18 points, though, up on Jordan Trask tonight. So this is a race that could really flip these standings as we take a look at these points here. The top 6 drivers, all within a race worth of points. So anything goes wrong tonight for some of these front runners, Bradley, I mean, we're talking just about everybody here could be right back into the picture. It doesn't take much for something bad to happen at Talladega.
And it was actually Phoenix last week, and that also had its own storylines. But you look here with Philip Brewer, it's pretty tight there in the top 3. A little bit of a gap there to Chuck Sweeting, but then from Chuck Sweeting all the way back to Caleb Weekly, that's within 20 points, 30 points. Caleb Weekly a little bit off here back in 12th, but no threat of falling out of that. The top 12 is set. But you look at Hunter Sr., he had a victory there. First win for him. A lot going on with the, suspensions, and that kind of set him back a little bit, but I think he has another chance to go out here and snag a win. I'd like to see Jared Skinner get his victory. He's right around the corner. But Philip Brewer just putting on a clinic here with 6 victories. Jordan Trask trying to win it out. But again, Talladega Super Speedway, it's one of those racetracks that anybody could get a win here. It's a lot of luck on your side. Opened back September 13th, 1969. It takes a lot of talent to get around this place in its own right. It is a very unique skill set, but at the same time, you are at the mercy of everyone around you.
Yeah, and you got to have friends out there. You got to have teammates in order to be able to work with them in the draft, to be able to make progress. We talk about Talladega being this really wide racetrack, right? That's, full throttle, 3 to 4 lanes. But I mean, if you don't have help, you're really not going to be going anywhere. And you got to have help not only on the racetracks, but you got to coordinate your pit stops, and you got to be there at the end. And we always talk about that. To be able to win at Talladega, you got to survive the wrecks, and you got to hit those pit stops to be there at the very end. And some drivers are better at that than others, and have proven that. You talk about a super speedway winner that's in the chase, and that'd be Judson Curtis. He knows how to get around these racetracks, and being 10th in points, Bradley, he could use a good night tonight.
Absolutely. That would help him make up that deficit of over 40 points. 60 laps here at Talladega, 55 miles per hour, the pit road speed limit. 5 tire sets. It's technically 4. We have 1 on the race car, so 4 tire sets available. 2 green-white checkered attempts, 80% fuel on an iRacing fixed setup. So that's going to level the playing field even more. It's going to be even more impossible to work through this field without help. These drivers will absolutely be bump drafting in this Class B, what used to be the Xfinity car. I believe it's now called the O'Reilly's Auto Parts series. And so I'm waiting for that update, and hopefully we'll get that soon enough. But now it's time to go trackside and get the grid up on the screen, starting on the top spot. Who will lead them into turn 1? Might not be the leader after that. It's going to be Jordan Trask. With well, there you go. Let's try to get the right graphic up there this time. 54.6545 for Jordan Trask. Ben Lapter will start to the outside in the number 64. That's row number 1 for tonight. Matthew Radford, Benjamin Richards going to start in row number 2. Benjamin Richards needs a good night as well. Then you go back to Broderick Vaclavic. Brandon Wallace, he made the top 12 in points. He will start in the 6th position. Justin Ritchie going to start in 7th. Chris Rood in 8th spot. Then back to Craig Martin in the 00. Bryce Shoemaker in the 54.
And starting in 11th tonight, it's your points leader with 6 wins to his name this season. It's Philip Brewer in that number 44. Judson Curtis, the race winner at Daytona from season 2. He rolls off in 12th. Austin Belke will start 13th tonight. Max Cost is back to the series tonight. And that number 63, he starts 14th. Mark McFadden, also another name that's been away for a while. Good to see him back here. He will roll off in the 15th starting spot tonight. John Sanu in that number 86 will start 16th. Chuck Sweeting in the 75 starts 17th. Hunter Sr. got his very first win just a couple weeks ago at Texas Motor Speedway, rolls off 18th. Nick Hapiak in 19th, and Noah Mahalski, a couple of wins to his name this season, starts 20th.
21st with Hodges, Skinner in 22nd. Rounding out your field with Shoemaker, Keith Shoemaker, and Tad Dabney. Here we go for another week of Saturday Night Racing League, live from Talladega in the Challenger Series. There you have it, the lead lap number one. It's going to be Ben Laughter, Benjamin Richards going back and forth. Richards to the bottom with Jordan Trask, your pole sitter, taking over the top spot here out of turn two. 56 going to lead it for the time being, but the outside line getting a push. And you have the 64 on the outside with the 99 of Brandon Wallace.
Yeah, Benjamin Richards leading the way here early at Talladega with a great push from Jordan Trask there on the inside lane. Second lane there, falling back just a little bit, trying to gain some momentum. I believe that's Brandon Wallace in the 99 doing the pushing, trying to get him back up there. I saw the third line trying to form for a little bit, but it's going to take a lot for that to happen tonight, Bradley. iRacing, it tends to get pretty 2x2 at these speedways. You can make that third lane work, but you really got to push aggressively.
It's Hunter Sr. on the outside. And the number one, looking to redeem himself. Got the victory here late in the season. We knew that he was capable of it, but then suspension takes him out of contention, and I believe it was actually in the Cup Series that he had his suspension. You got a lot going on here with points, and it doesn't always play nice, though, through the season. Sometimes things happen, you let your temper get the best of you, and it does make for a good storyline here on V-Speed, but it doesn't always make... Oh, we have problems. 56er Richards around. Caution is out. He locks it down, and only one car involved.
Wow, that could have been bad. Lucky for Richards there to not be hit by anybody, but just looks like he slid off the front bumper there of Jordan Trask, who's trying to push him, try to keep him up there, leading that bottom lane, but just got a little bit squirrely here. We'll have to see what exactly happened here on this instant replay.
I think it's just a push gone wrong. Maybe Richards moves up the racetrack. I'm not exactly sure.
And it just shows you, though, how, sensitive these cars are to where they're being pushed at. A lot of times you talk about pushing on the right rear, the center, the left rear. These cars handle a certain way when they get pushed, and especially coming out of the corners, which it looks like maybe that's what happened. You always can't rule out, the fact that could be some sort of connection issue between the cars. That's something that is very common in iRacing, that two cars might work really, really great together pushing, and it looks like, from the looks of it, Bradley, that looks like netcode to me. Just a bad connection between those. Unfortunate for Benjamin, but fortunate in the sense that he didn't get cleared out. He didn't get ran over. He's still got a car that's capable of going back out there, leading laps, and a car that could contend for the win, but a little bit of rear damage. He'll have to get to pit lane, get that repaired, and I think he'll be just fine.
It was an amazing job by Richards to keep that car locked down and not collect anybody else. And again, back to your comment about netcode, I feel like that was the case. You saw that damage kind of pop in and out before the car got turned. So whether it was the 79 car, again, you're at the mercy of not just the drivers around you, but you're also at the mercy of your internet provider. That can sometimes play a factor as we watch cars come down pit road here.
Yeah, it certainly can. It looks like a couple of these guys just electing to come down, top off on fuel. We, talked about how important that was just a couple of weeks ago. Some of the guys, I believe at Texas, right? They came down, topped off on that early caution, and they were able to make the long fuel strategy work. So here's an opportunity, and some of these guys are going to take that.
Brandon Wallace down and away as well with the 79 of Jordan Trask. Nick Hapiak came in and topped off with fuel. Craig Martin and a few others with Skinner and Mahalski. A fuel strategy. It's going to be fuel-only stops for a lot of this race, and with only 60 laps, I know that seems like a lot at a 2.5-mile racetrack, but based off of what we've seen, if these races go green, they go by quickly.
They do. And then also you talk about the green flag pit stop that these drivers will have to make at some point if we don't continue to get cautions. And these super speedway races in the Challenger Series have been pretty clean. You know, you talk about Talladega earlier in the season. You talk about both of the super speedways last season. They tend to go green. I think a lot of these drivers realize that. So why not come down, get yourself some fuel, but then also you're going to be able to make your pit stop a little bit shorter. You know, it's not a lot, but, you know, in the world of racing, Bradley, we always talk about it's a game of inches, it's a game of seconds. And if you can save a second or two on pit lane, that's a lot of time out on the racetrack. So we'll see how this pays off. But the other drivers that were towards the back, they want track position. They want to get out of the pack. They want to get to the front. They think it's a safer spot. So a couple different strategies playing out here.
It's a matter of seconds. Sometimes it can be a matter of fractions. And one of the closest finishes we've ever seen on V-Speed, between four cars, four wide across the start-finish line, it was less than 0.03 of a second separating those cars. It was Morgan Cook, V-Speed's very own, that got the victory there on the outside. So it's definitely one of those, if we go green and you come down pit road, you have to be perfect. But at the same time, it could come down to that lightning move to the outside with the final lap on a green-white checkered. We never really know what we're going to get here at Talladega, and that's why we're so excited about it.
Yeah, absolutely. And Ben Lafter is going to have a lap led to his name here. He's one of those drivers that probably looking for some bonus points here. And you have Matt Radford back here to the series. I believe this is only his second start of the season. So he's race winner from Daytona in season 1 in the trucks of the Challenger Series. So he has won at a super speedway before. Going to try to do that again. And just behind him, up on that outside row, it's Judson Curtis in the 29. We mentioned he won at Daytona in season 2. So he knows how to get around these super speedways. And no driver in the SNR Challenger Series has won multiple super speedway races. In the Cup Series, Bradley, it's a little bit different story. Seems like those are dominated by Bailey Turner, Adam Cabot. They just have a knack for getting around these tracks. They know the strategy, they know how to push, and you know, those guys have certainly won a lot of speedway races, but no multi-winners here in the SNR Challenger Series. We'll see if that changes tonight.
Up there in the iRacing blimp you see on the left-hand side of your screen is Chad Klinger over watching this race, and a shout out to him. He's been race control all season long. It's a tough job. It's a thankless job, so we want to give a special shout out to him and all that he does, and putting up with what we do on V-Speed. I know sometimes we get on his nerves with some of the things that we produce, and just want to give him a special shout out. I'm sure he'll appreciate that. He's been a fantastic guy here. Solid. It's part of the admin group. And Jeff, you got to be proud of this league. I know sometimes things get a little overwhelming, you know, dealing with different talents, different attitudes. I know I did it for 1 week in the summer. I couldn't imagine doing it 4 or 5 times in the last 3 years.
Yeah, it's definitely a challenge, that's for sure. I mean, you have your ups and downs, but when you have a good group of guys to work with, like Chad Klinger that you mentioned, doing our race control all season long for the SNR Challenger Series, competing in the Cup Series, he's a big part of that. So definitely a shout out to him. Well deserved. Pace car's off here, Bradley. Get ready to go in the tribal. Let's get this thing back going.
Matthew Radford, Ben Lafter on the front row. Will it be the 64 to the lead for lap number 8? Let's find out. OKC on the bottom with Brandon Wallace. Broderick Van Lavick on the outside. Green flag back underway. Judson Curtis giving the push.
Yeah, it looks like Curtis and Radford might try to get linked up here. Nope, Radford is going to dip down into the bottom lane here. Judson Curtis with no help. We'll see if he can maybe slide down in front of Chris Rude. I think that gap is closing. You'll have to wait and see from some help from, I believe that's Tav Dabney that's going to be the next in line. Jordan Trask going to jump up here and fall in line.
Third line already developing. Hunter Sr. has been committed to that from the start. He'll take the third line into turn 3. The one car with the 03 and Noah Mahalski trying to go places. They're running back around the 6th, 7th position right now. The 4th lane deep here. See Chris Rude there on the bottom. Dabney stuck in the middle. And usually that was the sucker hole. Back in the day, you got stuck in the middle. You didn't want to be there. Everybody took the outside or the inside. Now, with iRacing, it seems like both lanes can work. And if you can really get it going, the 03 of Mahalski could definitely get that one car up there. They need a couple more cars behind them.
Yeah, they are trying. That is for sure. Jordan Trask with a big push, though, to Curtis to get him back to the race lead for the time being. And Dabney right there in the middle. Brandon Wallace, boy, he has quite the view right now. He is right in the middle of it all. He usually has a driver cam for us. I don't know if we can get a shot of his onboard, but I bet you seeing cars on each side of you doing 200 miles per hour here in this Class B Xfinity Series car, that's a stressful feeling at times. And a lot of times it's a vulnerable spot. You know, anything bad happens in front of you, and you have absolutely nowhere to go.
Definitely one of those moments where you start to reconsider maybe some of the decisions you made to get there. I know for Brandon Wallace in the 99, definitely have a driver camera on the angle here for him. Take a look on board and the telemetry from the 99 machine.
Yeah, he's certainly got quite the view out his windshield. And Brandon Wallace is a super speedway winner this season. Remember, we did go to Echo Park Speedway, and Brandon Wallace came out victorious there. See if he can do it again tonight. That was a very eventful race there towards the end, and Brandon made, you know, the evasive move to dodge the wreck at the end, which you got to do, and he came home a winner. But boy, it looks awfully intense here in front of him, and now looks like he's wanting to get out of that middle. I think he wants to maybe get down to the bottom here, maybe relax a little bit, maybe save some fuel too. I believe we're going to be talking about fuel later in this race. So just, you know, that's what super speedways are nowadays. If you're not leading the race, you try to save fuel, because that can gain you advantage on pit lane later in the race.
Another on board here with the 64 of Ben Lafter, communicating right now with the 14. Trying to talk it out with Matthew Radford. Ben Lafter has been solid at the road courses and the short tracks. The intermediate ovals, he's turned it up here as of late. Some top 5s to talk about with the 64, a definite top 10. But it's been the road courses. That's where he was really shining. And you go to Watkins Glen, he did a dominant performance. He just wasn't quite good enough. But he definitely had the speed to win.
Yeah, certainly good on the road courses, good on the short tracks, like you said, and has made some huge improvements over the years, at least that I've known Ben, on his intermediates. And then you come to super speedway here. There's an art to this as well. A lot of times people think, you know, anybody can win a super speedway, Bradley, but, you know, although that is true, you know, the guys that are best at this type of racing tend to be there at the end and rise to the top. I mean, you know, I mentioned it a little bit earlier in the show with the Cup Series, Bailey Turner winning at Daytona 3 times in a row. You know, that's not really by accident. You know, maybe some things went his way to have it happen, but he puts himself in, you know, position to be there at the end and win those races. And you can say a lot of the same about some of these Challenger Series drivers. Right now, Judson Curtis, Jordan Trask finding themselves here towards the front. Ben Lafter, I'm sure he would love to get a win here at Talladega. Feels like he's been close this season at some other tracks. Could very well happen tonight. We'll have to wait and see.
1/6 of the way through at Talladega, 2.66 miles, clocking away at 185 miles per hour. Outside line reforms. It's gotten very organized as Jordan Trask gets a push. Judson Curtis in the 29, giving the move down the backstretch. Looks like we're about to have a lead change going into 3. Car steps out. That's the one as senior trying to get the third line again. Mahalski abandons it, and now we have High Side Podcast with the JS Gaming.
Yeah, they are committed to this outside top lane, all 4 of them. And Nick Hapiak doesn't always race in the SNR Challenger Series, but we've seen him a few times this season. If you're going to have more strength in numbers, this is the race to have an extra teammate. And they are trying to get that top lane rolling here, led by Hunter Sr. in that number 1 car. Noah Mahalski now has gone to the middle. He was in that outside lane. He's going to get in behind Judson Curtis and Jordan Trask here. But it's tough to get that third lane going, Bradley. It's doable, but you really got to be organized. You got to coordinate well. You got to be able to push hard and aggressively. And when we talk about pushing aggressively, what typically happens, right? Sometimes big crashes. So it's a fine line.
It's working on the backstretch for now, and it's going to probably take a couple shoves in the turn if they want to complete this pass for the lead. They're going to have to push where maybe they don't want to, and that's the other part. You got to kind of judge if you're that car behind the one right now, and that's going to be Skinner in the number 7. You're watching Jared Skinner give him a push through the tri-oval entry. Excellent job here. This time by Senior got it going. Outside's coming.
Yeah, we'll see if he wants to maybe clear down or if he's going to stay in that third lane and try to pull those teammates along with him. You know, you can make big progress on the top, but man, it seems like when you get into the entry of the corner, you really drag back, and then you can maybe gain it again on the straightaways. We'll see if we get another big run here. Big push by Skinner down the back straightaway. And while all of this is going on, Bradley, look where our points leader is at. He wants absolutely no part of this. He is running in the back, and he is just waiting for something to happen. You got a couple of the guys back here that are maybe not feeling like they want to be a part of this type of racing, at least this early in the race. Only risk you run, maybe losing that draft. That could be a big problem.
Yeah, 44, the 55 back here. You also have Chris Hodges in the 15, running back in 19th position. And he's actually part of this Juicy Spider group. That was a recent change to the teammates, and the 15 coming on board. Looks like he went back to his VRX Tops machine. But he has been part of this group now for about 3-4 weeks, and I'm surprised that we're not seeing the 15 up there trying to help these guys clear on the outside. Bottom prevails. Jordan Trask keeps the lead.
Yeah, there's just two different approaches to this race, at least for the playoff drivers. You know, you look at all the drivers with those blue spoilers and blue banners. You know, they're in the postseason here. We only got 3 races left, including this one. If you're not in the playoffs, you're really not too worried about getting caught up in a wreck. I mean, you want to go out there, run up front, lead laps, try to win the race. But for some of these guys, they're looking bigger picture. They want to win the championship. And they're electing to run in the back and try to stay away from this chaos. And Bradley, I've tried both strategies. I've tried to stay up front. I've tried to lead laps. I've also gone to the back, tried to hang out, try to dodge the wreck. And regardless of what I do, it seems to not work out. So I don't know if there is a right decision for these guys, but it's getting a little sketchy up here.
4 wide for the backstretch. Trask has to lift out of it.
We'll get back in line, but that was a close call there.
Cuts him a break. Radford makes a little mistake there, gets below the yellow line, and that actually sets Max Kost to the middle line. So here comes the 24 of Belke giving the shove. 7 car off the wall. The mistake on the outside now.
Getting awfully squirrely here. Cars shuffling around, but you said it, Max Kost to the lead of the outside lane here. We'll see if he can get some help here from Hunter Sr. Looks like Hunter Sr. is still going to be committed to that top lane for now. Austin Belke trying to follow through the middle here. We'll see if he can get to the back bumper of Max Kost.
If I'm
a little disorganized.
There it is. Okay, so I was starting to worry about it, but if I was Max Kost, I was going to communicate, hey, I'm going to go to the outside. I'm going to leave Belke out to dry. There's less cars in that middle line. I would take the outside. The one car has proven that he can get up there. He has the speed, but he hasn't been the pusher yet. Did you see it? An elevator move from the 79 and Trask to take the lead. He got around the 03. He used him up to get to the lead.
Yeah, these drivers are not content just to ride in line right now. They want to be up front. They want to lead laps, and you saw that with the move Jordan Trask made just there. Noah Maholsky trying to fight back. It looks like he will lead this lap this time by with the help of the 63 of Max Kost. Now, he'll go down to the bottom, and we just got this lead shuffling hands lap after lap. And it's only lap 18, Bradley. We still got a ways to go, but there is quite a bit of action out here on the racetrack.
About to be a third of the way through this event. Watching the 63 in the middle with the 24 of Belke. You have the 03 of Mahalstein, the 79 of Trask. And then it's Juicy Spider Gaming on the outside right now, trying to figure out this third lane.
And they're staying committed to each other. They're not really looking around to go different lanes. And although that third lane is starting to fall back, you know, none of them are really dipping out of the lane.
Big contact there, and we're going to go 4 wide through the tri-oval.
Yeah, Trask is going to have no help here. He'll have to fall back in line to the middle. The Juicy Spider guys, they're just going to ride that train up top. That's where they like to be, and they're going to help each other out. So these guys have to be aware of that. If you're max cost, if you get a run and try to pull in front of the one of Hunter Sr., he's probably going to try to leave you out to dry. So you have to know those guys want to work with their teammates and nobody else. But so far, Noah Mahalski, the 03, leading here at Talladega. Just behind him, Judson Curtis, and then Matthew Radford there on the bottom, as the bottom lane is prevailing just a hair for the time being.
And it was the 14 of Matthew Radford who had the lead a moment ago. Made the mistake on the apron. We're going to go 3 wide for the top spot again. Max Cost to the high line. He's going to be within 3/100ths of a second, but he doesn't get it. Mahalski leads another time by. Third lane develops again.
Yeah, and I was talking about how I didn't think Max Cost was going to actually take that third lane, but he did anyway. So the Juicy Spider guys now have no choice but to try and push Max Cost back up to the race lead here. Jordan Trask has still been pushing aggressively and trying to keep his lane moving. Austin Belkey, this is the highest he's been running all night. Get him up there into the top 3.
A lot of information coming in the chat. These drivers have not pitted yet. They haven't topped off with fuel. You've got Radford and, the stint here. It's Noah Mahalski. Stint 16 laps, but it's Judson Curtis who's ran the entirety of this race. Matthew Radford also on 20 laps of this stint. Trying to keep up with it, all the shuffling around. You also have Ben Laughter, who's been out on the racetrack, Broderick Vaclavic, Tad Dabney. A lot of these guys up in the top 10 who haven't hit pit road, and Max Cost left out to dry on the outside. Left for dead all the way to the back.
Just as quick as he got to the front, he was going to fall just as quick to the very back of this line and try to grab the tail end of the draft here. Maybe fall in line and try to minimize the damage here, but certainly going to lose a lot of track position here. And then you talk about some of these guys that, like Mark McFadden up there on the bottom line in the number 5 car, just kind of minding his own business, hasn't really been, pushing aggressively, probably trying to save some fuel. I would imagine probably the same thing for Broderick Vaclavic, Tad Dabney. They haven't been the guys that have been making moves towards the front. They've been content just to stay there on the bottom and kind of let it play out.
Apologize for that error right there, but a little bit of frame drop. Sometimes your USB likes to disconnect, and so we were trying to go on board there and get a look around. Let's go on board with Noah Mahalski. There we go. Now that we got the USB working, gotta make sure that we get a look at all the sights and sounds. We're approaching that halfway point. If I don't have cameras to work with, it just doesn't do it justice.
Yeah, that would certainly be a problem, but we got them now, and we got an awesome image here looking back on the pack. Jordan Trask pushing Judson Curtis back to the race lead here through the tri-oval, and Judson Curtis will get this lap led. And you're right, we're approaching halfway. That'll be right around when we start to see pit stops happen. Probably be a split strategy. You might see some guys try to get to pit lane, pretty quickly once the fuel window opens. You might see another group of drivers try to wait till the last second and try to really make up some time that way. And then you have to wonder, when will the guys that are just riding around in the back right now, when are they going to try to get aggressive and make a push to the front? We'll have to wait and see.
So I think it's the perfect opportunity because pit stops are going to fall right around that time at the halfway mark. So why not? Let's go ahead and dial up that volume knob. Go ahead and find that remote control, that smart device, and whatever it takes to get that louder. Let's get a noise complaint. Get loud. Presented by FireStorm Racing. Pit Loud presented by FireStorm Racing. Noah Mahalski coming by to lead lap number 25. Inside line still very organized. Speaking of drivers coming back, though, looks like Max Koss found another partner. He's going to take the 29 of Judson Curtis up the middle out of turn 2.
Yeah, Max Koss has been one of those drivers that we've seen go to the front, to the back, and now back to the front again. So he is making moves out there and trying to make himself a known threat to the rest of these drivers as we get to the end of this thing. It's been exciting and fun to watch that. Noah Mahalski continuing to lead. And like you said, halfway point, we're coming up. That's right around the time we're going to see these drivers. In terms of fuel, we haven't had a caution since that very first one. So the drivers that topped off on fuel, you know, those guys are going to be in a better situation than the guys who did not. So we'll have to wait and see how much of an advantage is that going to be? How much shorter are those pit stops going to be? And is it going to let a certain pack break away from everybody else? And we see that a lot here at super speedways.
Waiting for drivers to come down pit road. The halfway mark at lap 30. We'll be going on to lap 31. 27 laps on the stint for Radford and Laughter. Gotta wonder, when is the right time? They've been back here pushing for a lot of it to save some of this fuel, but is it going to be enough for a one stop to the end?
Jordan Trask has no help for the time being, but his buddy of Judson Curtis going to jump up here and try to help him out. I don't know if 2 cars up there on the 3rd lane, though, is going to be enough. We'll see if they can get connected here and start to make some progress. Still a little bit of shuffling going on throughout the pack, but Bradley, it's pretty evident on which drivers are content to just ride where they are, and then which drivers want to make the moves, want to get to the front, want to lead laps. And then you have these other groups of guys that are just trying to steer clear of a big wreck. You know, they feel like it's only a matter of time for it to happen, and they want to be in a spot, you know, where they can avoid it and not get a damaged race car. But after the pit stop, I feel like we're going to have a pretty good idea who the real contenders are. And Bradley, we haven't quite made our picks yet on who we're going to take to win this race. I think we do that after the pit stop. I feel like we see too much go wrong on pit sequences that it's only fitting.
Come on, Jeff, we can pick now.
I think it's only fitting, Bradley, to know if our guy's still going to be in it. But I'll leave that up to you.
I mean, are you worried that we're going to curse them with the pit stop? I will.
Bradley, I'm worried about a lot of things, and you know,
imagine how these guys feel.
Right, getting to a pit stop when you're 3 wide here at Talladega can be sketchy, to say the least. And I think a group of teammates that have been working really, really well tonight. That's Jordan Trask, Judson Curtis. I've seen them, you know, lock bumpers and make progress, maybe better than anybody tonight, at least so far. Noah Mahalski, he's been really aggressive, kind of out there on his own. I don't know if he's been working with anybody in particular, but he's been making great moves to get to the front and then keep the lead. So I feel like you have to watch out for him. But then you have some of the guys towards the back that we really haven't seen any moves out of yet, right? They're just kind of waiting for the right time. And I think you'll definitely not, you know, have to count those guys either once we get down to the end of this thing.
I'm going to throw it out there now. I'm going to say that Jared Skinner finds his way to victory lane. That's my pick here. He's got a lot of teammates that have been committed. They've been well organized. I think the 7 car finds his way there.
Hey, I think that's a good pick. He's a part of a good group. Definitely cannot go wrong with that, Bradley. I think looking at who I'm going to pick here, I mean, maybe it's not the most popular pick because we've seen this driver, you know, win on other tracks and win multiple races across different seasons. But I really like what I see out of the 03 and Noah Mahalski tonight so far. I feel like he hasn't had a lot of teammates per se, but I feel like he's just working with guys that are around him. And as you get down to the end of it, some of these guys who have been working with teammates, those guys might not be around. Noah, it seems like he doesn't really matter who he's around. He can work with just about anybody. Give me that 03 and Noah Mahalski to get it done tonight here at Talladega.
All right, so my pick, the 7 car, falls back to 9th. Noah Mahalski in the lead. The V-speed odds, don't know what they are right now, but I know that the numbers game, it's a lot of luck as we approach pit stops. Lap 32.
Speaking of the V-Speed odds, Bradley, just got to point one thing out. I think it's the last 2 weeks, the V-Speed odds makers have predicted the top 3 finish, consecutively. That's unheard of, right? I mean, I don't know if that's going to happen at Talladega. It's a bit of a lottery out here tonight. But that means something, right? I think can't ignore that fact.
Sounds like the algorithm is working. It's taking
It must be. It has to be.
3 seasons here in the Challenger Series, 5 seasons in the Cup Series. It's taking a long time to get that dialed in, but I think it's working.
I'll tell you one driver, though, that's top 3 in those algorithm odds tonight. That's Judson Curtis, and he is certainly looking good here on the top, and he's had great help from Jordan Traps tonight. Those drivers have been working great together, so I think he's top 3 in the odds for a reason. Matthew Radford, a super speedway winner in seasons past, he's up there. And obviously, Mahalski, my pick, he's won a race this season in the SNR Challenger Series, and looking to get another one. And then Max Koss, he is back from a bit of a break. It's good to see Max Koss back here in the SNR Challenger Series. We hope to see him in the SNR Cup Series later tonight. And I believe he's won a clash, maybe in a different league, at this very racetrack. So Max Koss, Talladega, has been very friendly to him as well.
Loves the super speedways. You can see a little bit of damage there on the 06 of Nick Hapiak. Definitely on right rear. So it shouldn't interfere too bad as long as he's the pusher. But we got a lot of checking up. I think we're starting to cycle that pit stops. Guys trying to get to the bottom. And a lot of checking up here on the outside. I think the 29 at Curtis is going to find his way to the bottom. He will. They'll drop down behind the 5 of Mark McFadden. And so watching here in 11th, 12th position. Here come pit stops.
Yeah, here we go. First group here. Not a ton of cars. Oh, Chris Rude's out of shape. Oh, heavy damage. Locked it up under braking. We will stay green, but that is a big impact to the front of that race car, and that is more than likely going to take him out of contention tonight.
Pit stops begun with the 14 of Radford leading him into pit lane. And Benjamin Richards into the wall.
Slams the inside wall. I think he might have hit one of his crew members, Mr. Cooper. He's going to try to get it situated, though. I think he's got it. Yeah, he's got it situated now. Starting to get service to that car. You know, not a huge hit, but just the angle he hit the wall at, I feel like that's going to hurt the right front, and that could spell trouble for him. Certainly going to lose a lot of time because of it. You have to wonder if some of those guys going to be able to keep the draft.
Looks like the 24 Belkey by himself. That's not what you want to see when you're coming into pit lane, and he locks it up. I think Belkey, big speed penalty, and he's going to be done.
Yeah, really unfortunate there for Austin. Yeah, he just couldn't quite get it woed up there. Going to get a penalty, and that's going to be the end of his night. Going to go a few laps down now, more than likely. A couple of these other drivers, though, still out here trying to run fast lap times here with the pack. Noah Mahalski and Max Koss, his old buddy, have locked up bumpers here, and they're working well together, trying to make some time here on the inside lane. Broderick Vaclav just behind him in the 07. We'll see how much longer these drivers want to run. And I believe, Bradley, this is a group of guys that did pit under that first caution. Might have a little bit more fuel.
Yeah, we're seeing drivers that topped off stay out there a little bit longer. So about 32 laps on the stint. They can go about 33 laps. Mahalski up front, though, for a lot of this. He'll have to come down before everyone else. He's been up front for quite a ways here in this stint.
Yep, and when you're out front, you're going to burn more fuel naturally. So he's just trying to get, they're trying to make the most speed now relative to the other guys that have already pit. So Max Koss is up on the wheel. He is trying to, give the best pushes he can right now to Mahalski to get the fastest lap times. And you can see it behind them. Everybody is getting single file. Everybody is trying to get down to the bottom here to get ready for these pit stops. This is where this race is going to be won, and here they come.
A lot of cars down pit road. 03 of Mahalski going to lead them in.
Nicely done by everybody.
No speeding penalties for this top 10 as they come down. Yeah, Mahalski, Koss, Senior, Skinner, Hapiak, Trass, and Sweeting missed on the pit box for the 15. It was Chris Hodges in the background that missed his pit box. but he's still going to be down and away before a lot of these cars. 03 Mahalski lost, and that actually might have been the car that missed the pit box. I might have been wrong on that.
Yeah, I think he had to back up and get into his stall. So gonna lose the lead out of it, but he should be as fine as far as he's gonna stay in that draft. We'll have to see where that group cycles out versus the group here that had already pit. And they're gonna be trying to get up to speed here as they work through turns 1 and 2, and we'll see these two packs probably merge together here on the back straightaway. We'll see. It looks like a very good stop though by these guys. Max Cost, good stop. Hunter, I believe that's Hunter Senior behind him there. Looks like they had a pretty good stop, so we'll see where these guys cycle in at.
So mistakes from both of our picks. We cursed him anyway on pit road, and Jared Skinner lost the draft. He's back in 17th position. Don't cut him out just yet, though. Caution could come out. It sets this field back up. The 54, Bryce Shoemaker, leading some laps, and he's kind of the underdog as well. You're watching Philip Brewer in 2nd position. This is on and off pit road in just a moment's time. I think with time lost versus time gained, 4 tires, fuel, it's going to come down to fuel. Whoever takes that fuel-only stop and doesn't make a mistake on pit road.
Well, this is a group that we have not talked about a lot. They're the guys that were playing it safe early and just hanging around the tail end of the lead pack that entire first run. So they topped off on fuel. I imagine they were probably not full throttle, probably saving fuel too. So these guys have the most fuel of anybody. And so if they can go a little bit longer here, make good time. Philip Brewer's an excellent pusher, as is Justin Ritchie there just behind him. These guys should have to make the shortest stop of anybody. And so that could be a big time winning move. We talk about the guys that were laying back and, weren't in the picture, but they're playing the long strategy here. I feel like we're going to find out pretty quick. Here come the pit stops now where these guys are going to cycle out.
54-44. Great execution there on the entrance of pit road, and Ray Shoemaker leads them down. How much time did they make up here, Jeff?
I think it's going to be quite a bit. It's going to be noticeable how much shorter their stop is going to be. They don't have to take the amount of fuel. Justin Ritchie's going to miss his box. That's going to spell big trouble for him. He's going to lose the draft out of this pack. Keith Shoemaker is down and away. Good stop for him. Same thing for Bryce Shoemaker, Philip Brewer. They're all going to be just fine here. So I like where these guys are at. We'll see where they cycle out, but I think the fact that they had more fuel, they saved fuel, they're able to go a little bit longer. I think this could be a good strategy for them. Although here comes the pack. They're coming quick.
Yeah, I think they're going to overtake them.
As long as they can hang on to the tail of this draft, though, they will be okay. And they are going to catch them here, but I think they will be able to cycle in and grab the tail end of the draft here. We'll have to wait and see. I think it's going to be tight, but I think they will have the speed to do it. Keith Shoemaker there on the bottom in that Oreo car, I believe. I think they're going to have the draft. So not going to cycle out to the lead, but they are right here in the mix with 20 laps to go.
20 laps left. At Talladega. It's going to be week number 3 in this chase format. With Texas, Phoenix behind us. We go on to Dover and Las Vegas to finish out this season. This is the asterisk for a lot of these drivers. They want to make best, especially if you're in a championship hunt like Philip Brewer. You don't want to have a DNF. You do not want to finish at the tail end of this field. We've had 3 cars a lap down or more, with Broderick Vaclavic, Chris Rude making a mistake on pit road, Austin Belke behind the wall. He sped on the pit road by himself, and it's been Lapter, Jordan Trask on the top spot.
And all these strategies have really come together. I think you have, your winners and losers as far as who executed the stop, who didn't make any mistakes. The guys that made mistakes, they've lost the draft. But, guys from each group and strategy of when these guys pit, it's all come together now, and they're all packed up. So this is really anybody's race here at this moment in time. Benton Laughter continuing to lead the outside lane here. Jordan Trask leading the bottom lane here with some help from Max Cost. And then you have the guys that went with the long strategy. That's the Shoemakers of Bryce and Keith. And then also I believe Brandon Wallace was in that pack, but I think he might have had some pit lane trouble. I think he may have lost the draft as I'm looking at the times. Unfortunately for him, yeah, he's going to be 12 seconds behind the leader. And then Justin Ritchie, another one of those guys on that strategy as well. So we'll see if these guys can make a surge to the front. But these guys back here, they're going to need a caution to get back into this one.
Yeah, you've got the 99 of Brandon Wallace, Benjamin Richards in the 56, Judson Curtis, Johnson New, and the 7 of Skinner. My pick here tonight, way out of the draft. You also had that mistake by Noah Michalski, but I think your pick is doing a little bit better off than mine based off the position battle. The 03 of Michalski has worked his way to the top 5. He's behind the 64 of Laughter.
Yeah, and they're still working hard trying to keep their lanes moving here. Michalski, we talked about overshooting the box just a little bit. That didn't really phase him all that much, so he was able to get right back out there. And here he is again, pushing Ben Laughter here on the outside lane. Bryce Shoemaker, this is the highest running he's been. He's going to waste no time and shoot out to the outside. Does he have any help, though? Will Matt Radford go with him? I don't know if he will. But Nick Hapiak in the 06, this is an opportunity. He says, why not? Let's go up to the third lane here and see if we can make up some ground.
Had a lot of momentum through that tri-oval, but into the entry of 1, it kind of goes stagnant. Let's see if we can get a push here on board with the 06 of Hapiak.
Yeah, and Hapiak is a good super speedway racer, so no doubt in my mind he can get this 54 up here to the lead. The problem is I don't know if they're going to have the numbers that the middle lane and the bottom lane have. You could be the best pusher in the world, but if you just don't have the strength and numbers, it is going to be hard to overcome that. As they fall back a little bit here through the turns 3 and 4 here. See if he can get back to his back bumper. A little bit wobbly here. These guys are a little bit unorganized, but they're still going to give it their all here and see if they can make up the ground. Michalski, you have to wonder if he sees the run coming, is he going to try to cover it and block it, or is he going to stay middle? And they got numbers now. They got a couple of guys up there. I believe that's Broderick, that's Christopher Hodges there in the 15. And then Craig Martin there in the 00, but it looks like they're going to bail on the 54 of Shoemaker now, and he's going to go straight to the tail of that pack. Have to regroup, regather, and try to make another surge to the front.
Back to the lead for Noah Michalski. He led a lot of that last stint. He glimpses the lead for a brief moment there on the outside of Ben Laughter. 64 and 03 have been up front a lot of the day. So is the 79 of Jordan Trask. We've seen a lot of drivers that have started up here or worked their way up here. Michalski started all the way back in 20th position. So for him, biggest mover award so far.
Yeah, no doubt. He has shown that he has been able to go from the back to the front, no problem, without, working with any particular person. He's been working with just about everybody. He's going to push Ben Laughter now. We'll see if he covers it. And there they go.
Around 03. Big wreck down the backstretch. Caution is out on lap 46. With just 14 laps to go, Hapiak to the inside wall. And we saw it happening there in the live shot.
Wow, a lot to unpack there. And just as we were kind of talking about it, things starting to get heated up. We'll have to see what kind of triggered this wreck. But Nick Hapiak, for sure, his night's going to be over. Looked like a big push here, and then Radford looks like he got into the 79. I don't know. And then, gets tagged again there. It looks like Trask was going to be okay, but then he gets hit from behind again. Michalski, I don't know how significant his damage is. Obviously, he got the hit right there in the door. Barely got hit there by Mark McFadden in the 5, but he might be okay. He kept it off the wall. Man, that was a big break for Michalski not to impact the wall. I think he's going to be okay, but ample other drivers. This will be an interesting view to watch here. Good job to get. Yeah, he's got some rear end damage. Trask hit the wall hard on the inside, as did Hapiak. Sweeting, I think, might have a little damage out of this. Man, the impact the impact there by Nick Hapiak, that was one hard hit.
The outside line, the 1 car, you can see the bobble and the 03 and the 79. here's the hit to the wall.
Yeah. That's a tough one. Looks like it all just kind of got stacked up a little bit, you know, towards the front there. Guys not really knowing which lanes they wanted to pick. You know, looks like Mahalski was going to push Laughter. And then looks like Radford thinking middle lane's open, he's going to take it.
I think
Then that hole closes. Yeah, the hole closes. And it's just a chain reaction from there. Bryce Shoemaker hard into the back of Happyack. We'll have to see how bad his damage is. Justin Ritchie sneaking by there on the bottom. Keith Shoemaker gets through it. And Mark McFadden, that was a really close call for him. He's had a quiet but sneaky night. And he just dodged all this chaos. Good heads-up driving by Mark. Get a nice view of this on board.
I wanted to kind of get a look there on board with the 14 because I think the 03 might have came down and pushed him into this. And that is a great job. 05 of McFadden or 5 of McFadden. Close call there. But if I can take one more replay, one more stab out of here, I want to get a look at the onboard. Back this up just a little bit more. And on board with the 14. I think the 03 comes down a little bit here. You be the judge.
Yeah, I mean, it just looked like an awkward spot. I mean, I think Radford looked like there was going to be enough space there to go 3 wide. And it just looked like Mahalski wasn't. He was up the track and then maybe come down the track. So the hole was there briefly, but then it quickly closed and that kind of checked everybody up. And then I think that's what got Radford into Trass. And then from there on, the wreck happened.
Don't go anywhere. We have more action at Talladega back to back with the Saturday Night Racing League and the Cup Series. But right now, it's to finish up the Challenger Series, week number 3. Chase format. Back with more on V-Speed in just a moment.
JS Racing. We're in the game.
Gentlemen, start your engine!
Drivers, start your printers.
To keep pace with the ever-changing landscape of marketing and advertising, let Clark Print Shop help you spot the trends and keep you in front of the pack with all your color printing needs. From business cards to invitations, menus to mugs, we can print anything you need on paper or your choice of over 3,000 promotional items. Visit www.clarkprintshop.com to browse our online catalog and place your order today, or call us at 276-889-3426. For a limited time, use the code iRacing for 23% off your first purchase. The staff at Clark Print Shop looks forward to handling all your color printing needs.
Walking and Rolling Costumes started when my son Reese was born with cancer.
So when I was 3 years old, I got my first wheelchair.
And he wanted to be Wall-E for Halloween that year. And so I knew you couldn't buy a costume to go on a wheelchair at that time. So I knew I had to build one.
My dad ended up building a Wall-E costume out of a Dell computer box.
When we were all finished, he loved it. We took pictures of it and shared it on social media. So many people started sharing it that we started getting requests from people we didn't know.
In 2015, we decided to build them for other kids because people were asking, hey, can you build them for my kid?
So we started the nonprofit organization, Walking and Rolling Costumes, and we build costumes for kids all over the nation, free of charge to the families.
Back under green here with just over 10 laps to go. Ben Lapter going to lead him into turn one. Mark McFadden on the back bumper. We reset this field with a late race caution. Jeff Wright, Bradley Cooper up in the V-Speed booth with cameras provided by Dougie Beard. So far, it's been a pretty quiet night. Just around 24 lead changes, 2 cautions. It's been a good race here so far.
And how about Mark McFadden on the bottom lane, trying to get his first laps led of the race and of the season? Wouldn't that be something if he can get up there, shake this thing up, maybe get a win in a playoff race like this? But still strong help there from Justin Ritchie. This is really the first time we've seen Justin up this far. He was kind of playing it safe earlier, but now he's up at the front when it counts with 10 laps to go.
10 left. 26 miles, it seems like an eternity. This is where time slows down, Jeff. This is where it gets really hard to make decisions.
Yeah, and the intensity picks up. The pushes get a little bit more aggressive, so everybody's got to be on your toes. And Ben Laughter now, elevator move up to the top to try to take the push from Philip Brewer here to the lead. Justin Ritchie through the middle. Mark McFadden 56. On the bottom.
Benjamin Richards, the 15 of Chris Hodges. Chris Rude also involved. Caution is out. That's going to take us even closer to overtime.
Talk about the intensity picking up, and there it is. People just trying to make hay, make headroom, and try to get to the front as quick as possible, and you're going to have incidents like this, unfortunately. Hodges' night's going to be over. Benjamin Richards, I believe this is the second incident that he's in. I think, yeah, we'll see where this kind of triggered, but obviously a big run here through the middle. Richards just didn't see him there. So Trask and Hodges, yeah, I believe, had a big head of steam there through the middle, and it just looked like Richards didn't quite see that run coming, or maybe tried to cover it. Not quite sure. Either way, going to collect a handful of cars here, but under the caution flag here, Bradley, we have Mark McFadden currently leading us. What do you say we can maybe pull Mark McFadden for a quick chat here as he leads the field under yellow?
Absolutely.
Hey, Mark McFadden, it's Jeff Wright, Bradley Cooper up in the V-Speed booth. Do you have a copy, driver?
I sure do.
Well, Mark, you're in the lead here in the late going here at Talladega, and you've played it pretty safe. Kind of a quiet night for you, just kind of minding your own business. You know, taking it easy on the bottom, maybe saving some fuel. You executed the pit stop perfectly, and now you find yourself here in the lead late at Talladega. 1, how are we feeling? And 2, what's it going to take to be able to hold these guys off and get that first win of your SNR Challenger Series career?
Well, yeah, I mean, I'm shaking like a leaf. I got to keep telling myself to breathe. Just happy to be up front for the first time, I think, in my Saturday night racing career, so I'm pretty happy to be here. Honestly, no matter what happens, I'm pretty stoked.
Yeah, and we already see you have a lap led to your name here under the caution flag. You're going to come around and get a second one. The intensity picks up here so much in the late goings here at Talladega. What would you say, you know, how the handling feels as far as, you know, being able to be pushed or being able to push the cars in front of you? Does it feel like things are on edge, or do you feel like you can push pretty aggressively and get away with it?
I've been pretty I've laid back pretty much all night. I haven't been too aggressive. I don't have any teammates, so that's the one thing that works against me here.
Yeah, I was going to say teammates is usually a thing we talk about at Talladega as being something really important, to have friends there at the end. But so far, Mark, it doesn't look like you need any friends at all. You're doing a great job out there. You dodged that last wreck, the one prior to this one, really closely. Take us through that incident there. And did you feel like you were in the wreck, or did you feel pretty confident you could wheel your way out of that one?
Nope, I thought he was going to catch my right quarter panel and I was going to head right up into the wall. So who knows? Maybe this is the night.
Hey, maybe it is. Well, good luck the rest of the way. Mark McFadden in that number 5 machine. It looks good out there in the number 1 position. We'll see if you can keep it there and see if you can bring it home a race winner. Thanks for talking with us, Mark.
Yeah, thanks, guys.
So that was Mark McFadden, driver of the number 5, getting his first laps led of the season. And Bradley, we always talk about Talladega. It's a game of survival, right? And it's a game of executing those pit stops. And to be at this point right now, Mark has done just that.
Executed well on pit road, 36.6 there in the pit lane. He's found his way back to the front, stayed with the draft. You know, we saw a lot of cars that lost it, a lot of names, and people that we picked made mistakes on pit road. But McFadden, you know, sometimes that approach where you're just laid back, you're just cruising around, Jeff, sometimes that's the way. Sometimes you have to go slow to go fast.
Yeah, you got to be patient too. You got to make the right decisions, and you got to take opportunities when it presents itself. And right now, the top 5 running order goes Mark McFadden, your race leader, as we should be doubling him up this time by and get the 1 to go. Justin Ritchie's going to start to his outside. Ben Lafter, we've talked, he's been kind of towards the front all night, and so no surprise to see Ben here up in the mix. Hunter Sr., Jared Skinner, they've been working really well together all night, so look for those two to try to get bumper to bumper and see if they can make some ground. And you got our points leader, right? The points conversation. Philip Brewer's still in it. He is not wrecked out, and he is here just trying to survive, right? He's trying to keep that points buffer between everybody else. These next few laps here are very important for this championship battle.
The people asking in the chat what happened. What the heck even happened? So there you go. One more look at it. We'll take another look. It's a late race caution. Not the best look at it. We'll take it one more time. Benjamin Richards, kind of a late move, I think. Maybe trying to stay to the outside. Got a little hypnotized by the 99 coming down. No, maybe trying to jump down in front of the 15, and there you go. Jordan Trask also involved in that. Not a great night for Trask. He needs to make up points. But we go back to our live shot. It's Mark McFadden with the lead after all of this, and we're doubled back up with around 5 to go. When we go back green, 6 laps left here at Talladega. You know, if you enjoyed this action, make sure you hit that subscribe button. We got another one coming up. Back to back at Talladega.
It's going to be a fun night, and it has been a fun night so far, Mr. Cooper. I'm glad to be back up here in the booth. These races are always so much fun to call, and it is go time here at Talladega in the closing laps. You can see starting to be golden hour here. The sun is kind of starting to set a little bit in the sky, and the action is about to turn up here as the pace car is going to work its way here through the front straightaway and make that hard left-hand turn. And I don't know if we're done wrecking yet, Bradley, but one thing I do know, it is about to get absolutely wild out here. Talladega always puts on such entertaining and fantastic finishes.
Looking for a winner in this field. About 19 cars, 18 cars left on the lead lap. Actually go back to Chris Hodges, barely hanging on to it. McFadden, a big jump here. Not what you want, but he's going to get an early restart, and he's going to get a bump for the 64 into turn 1.
Yeah, good start so far here. We'll see if Lafter can keep him up there. Side draft here aggressively from Justin Ritchie. He has help from Hunter Sr. and Philip Brewer riding there in the 44. We haven't talked about Philip a lot tonight, your points leader. And this is where his heart is probably beating through his chest right now, because he knows if he can just get through this race, get through it uninvolved in an accident, and get, you know, a solid top 10 finish, he feels really good about his championship hopes. But it's all on the line right now.
Live car gets really loose from a push from Ben Lafter all over the back bumper of Mark McFadden. That gives Justin Ritchie the lead for the time being, but coming off of turn 4, McFadden back to the top spot.
And Ben Lafter's been doing a really great job too, pushing McFadden here, keeping him up there. Ben's pushing aggressively, but he is, you know, pushing hard, and you have to right now, right? You have to push hard in these situations to keep your lane moving and give yourself a chance at this race.
Doing what he can. 64 is going to keep the 5 car out front, but man, have they not lined up. I think it's just one of those adjustments. You haven't seen McFadden up front here at all today in that push. I think maybe the force feedback turned up a little bit too much for McFadden.
Yeah, it's getting a little squirrely out there. Mark McFadden, I'm sure, is death gripping the wheel with these big pushes from Ben Laughter just behind. But it is go time. You cannot hold back in this situation. You have to push hard to keep your lane moving. And also, I mean, you just got to be ready for anything at this point, right? This is where the big accidents happen. You got to be ready to dodge the big wreck, too. He's done that already once tonight. It's easiest to do it from the front as he's going to lead another lap. Very close there. Maybe Richie got it.
Oh, contact in the middle, 4 wide to the outside line. They're going to get through it. No, 44, your points leader around. He saves it.
Wow, what a save. That could have been his championship right there on the line. And he was wrecked. He was sideways in the middle of the corner at Talladega. You don't save race cars like that.
It. Jared Skinner going to miss it. It's McFadden.
Oh, no.
And Hunter Senior involved.
It all happened so fast. With the intensity picking up. I can't believe we didn't wreck earlier with that 4 wide, but.
Now Ben Laughter in the middle.
Right, trying to squeeze in there 3 wide. And that sets off a pretty big incident. Philip Brewer, though, man, boy, his season kind of flashed before his eyes there. I thought he was wrecked. I thought he was going, head on into the wall there.
Yeah. Let's go back and watch that with a 44.
Yeah, I don't know how he didn't wreck right here. 4 wide Talladega. I thought they had it for a second. And really, good thing the 00 there, Craig Martin was there. He was kind of able to catch himself. But, wow, what a turn of events. And then, trying to kind of split the gap there 3 wide. And, unfortunately, not going to be enough space for all 3 cars in that small part of the track. It's hard to say exactly what happened, but
yeah, it's just a big head of steam. And
Max Costo going to get on through, and Justin Ritchie is going to be your race leader here out of all of this. Judson Curtis still in it, and so you still got some guys up front here that know how to win at the super speedways. Max Cost is in a great spot. I think we got to look out for him. And then Ben Laughter, Philip Brewer, still in it here as well. So more than likely now we're going to get to be in green-white checkered territory. So probably we're going to get one of those attempts next time we go green. And we get 2 of those, Bradley. So we don't get 3 like we do the Cup Series, just 2 shots at this. We'll see if these guys can get around to take the white flag, and then from that point, anything's game. Anything can happen. The caution flag will not come out in iRacing once you take the white flag.
Who attempts to reset this field, rack them back up? We're going to extend this race from its usual 60 laps. We'll go back green on lap 60. Drivers will take the green flag. The next time around, there will be the white flag in the air. If they have a caution before we reach that white flag, we will rack them back up and try it one more time. Whoever has the lead, whether it's a caution flag or a white flag. No guarantees on that white flag. There's also no guarantees if you take that white flag as the leader, you're going to win this race. So I know green-white checkers pretty much learned by everybody in the iRacing community, but we still like to explain them here for anybody that might not know what's going on. Justin Ritchie is your leader. We can confirm that right now. And it's overtime for the Challenger Series, race 3 of the chase. Your points leader, Philip Brewer, all but wrecked. He is in the 6th position. I don't know how he held on to that car. I don't know how you do that. You go back to Mark McFadden, who we just talked to. He's back at 18th position, back out on the racetrack, but actually came back down pit road. He's trying to get as much of this damage repaired as he can. So the 5 car, the 24, the 1, a lot of people in pit road.
Yeah, and man, that's tough for Mark, and you feel terrible for him that that happened. Drove his way all the way up to the front, was leading laps in position there, and then gets tangled up in an instant. One guy I was curious to talk to is some guy that's been running up front all night long. That'd be Ben Laughter. We got another lap here under the caution flag. So what do you say we pull Ben Laughter here into the booth for a quick chat here? Hey, Ben Laughter, it's Jeff Wright, Bradley Cooper up in the booth. You got a copy?
Yes, sir. How you doing, gents?
Not too bad. It's been fun to watch out there, Ben, and you've certainly been up front all night long, it seems like. Take us through a little bit what happened with that incident there with Mark McFadden. Looked like you were going to kind of squeeze through the middle, and then it kind of closed up on you a little bit.
Yeah. I need to go back and look at it and see if I was like fully at fault there or not. I hope I wasn't. But yeah, I felt like, you know, I hadn't run around Mark all day. I was having a little trouble getting squared up on him with the lines he was coming off the corners. And, you know, nothing against him or anything, but I saw a gap and I wanted to get in it. You know, only a couple laps to go in the race, and I know I had the pace to lead today, so I wanted to get in there, and then suddenly the hole sort of closed up. Again, I want to look at it. I don't want to point any fingers, except at myself first. But yeah, I saw a hole and I went for it.
Green-white checkered territory now here, Ben. You're gonna be able to start here on the front row. Take us through the strategy here. You got anybody picked out that you're trying to work with here, or is this kind of free for all now? It's, you know, you versus the field, and it's, you know, whoever can go get it.
There's a lot of guys around me right now that I respect a lot. I respect their skill, their talent, their ability at this sort of racing, and I am just going to hope that you know, I can get myself back into a leading position where I can get that middle lane. I'm happiest in the middle lane, where I can block runs from either side. So hopefully I can get a good push from Max here, and we can move ourselves up one notch.
All right, well, we'll let you go, Ben, here. Good luck the rest of the way. 11 laps led so far on the night.
Yeah.
See if you can go get that win.
It's a good one, man. Thanks, you guys.
So that was Ben Laughter there in the 64. Going to start on the front row here with a chance to win it all here, Bradley. And 2 attempts here at the green-white checkered. Hopefully we don't have to use all of them. But something tells me we're at Talladega. I don't know if we're done wrecking just yet.
Odds are stacked against us, but it's our first overtime attempt. The pace car will make that left-hand turn in just a moment's time. 4 cautions, 28 lead changes. Will we make it double digits? Will we see our second overtime? A lot of questions to be asked and not a lot of answers out here on the racetrack just yet. Who's going to be our winner is the final question that we have in race 3 of the chase. Richie on the outside. Laughter on the inside. Max Cost. Jared Skinner. I made my prediction. I'm sticking with it. He's back into the hunt. There we go. Green-white checkered attempt number 1 for the Challenger Series at Talladega. Big jump on the outside for Justin Ritchie. Might be too much. I think the 7 car is going to be neck and neck. 44 of Philip Brewer, your points leader, in the 3rd spot.
Yeah, and Philip Brewer, remember, he was almost just wrecked and out of this thing, and his points lead would have been absolutely diminished. So he's just lucky to be here at the moment, but now he's got a task in front of him, and that's push the 7 of Jared Skinner to get their lane moving. See if Justin Ritchie going to come up, going to try to block it.
That's a late block for the 55. He gets a hard hit. A lot of checking up on the outside. 3rd lane was not developed. That's Keith Shoemaker.
Big push there by Max Koss and Judson Curtis on the bottom lane. Absolutely surging coming out of turn 4 here as we get ready to take the white flag.
One more time around after we cross this tri-oval for Ben Laughter, Max Koss, Judson Curtis going to try to make a move. To the outside. White flag in the air. Laughter moves to the outside. He's going to pick the middle lane. 3rd line. Contact. A lot of cars involved in this. It's 1 to go. And after all that, Judson Curtis has the lead. Are we going to see another victory from Philip Brewer? Tad Dabney with the lead.
How about this? Tad Dabney leading on the final lap here at Talladega. Judson Curtis with no help, but a big push here from Philip Brewer. Is he going to make the move, or is it going to be Tad Dabney to score his first career victory?
Dabney's trying to play both lanes. Which lane does he want to block? Which lane's going to give him the push? 29, if he can leave him out to dry. He's got both lanes through the tri-oval. It's going to be a 3-wide finish across the line. Contact to the outside, contact to the inside. The 9 trying to hold on to it. He's bouncing doors with the 44. Tad Dabney.
Oh my goodness.
I don't know who won this race. It was Judson Curtis by 3/1000ths of a second.
Unbelievable finish. Judson Curtis scores his second super speedway win in electric fashion. Tad Dabney, so close. 3/1000ths of a second. You said it, Bradley. For becoming a first-time winner here in the SNR Challenger Series, he's going to have to wait for another day for that to happen. But Judson Curtis making it happen. We didn't think he had a chance there. He didn't have any help. But, man, it all unfolded, and Judson Curtis edges out the win here at Talladega. How about that?
He had damage. He had a heck of a race. And that finish. Wow. That one beats it. It was 4/1000ths, now it's 3/1000ths. We changed the standard.
Absolutely incredible finish there. And Philip Brewer, I mean, he had a chance to win this thing. But, man, coming in, you know, the goal was just to not crash. And he almost did that at least one time, maybe more. And so he survives. But what a thrilling finish here as Judson Curtis gets the win at Talladega. 3 wide at the line, Bradley. You cannot ask for much better than that.
They get back on a V-Speed instant replay. That's what everyone wants to see.
Tad Dabney here was kind of in a tough spot. It looked like he didn't know which lane do I want to cover. Do I want to go up? Do I want to go to the bottom? And then it kind of left an option for him to get split from both sides.
Yeah, he's giving draft to both those cars. And then look at the contact. The door bounce. It's a ping pong ball. He was worried about Philip Brewer, and then it was Judson Curtis that took it from him.
Yeah, I feel like one of those hit one less of those door bangs there, and maybe he gets it. I think Dabney and Brewer kind of slowed each other down a little bit, and I don't think Brewer did anything wrong here. I don't think he went below the line. If anything, right there he kind of got forced, and so that's all fair game here, and he keeps it above the yellow line here. But I think Dabney's probably thinking that's going to be the race for the win right here. I got to beat Brewer to the line, and then while they're doing that, here comes Judson Curtis on the outside 3 wide with no help and just barely edges away. Look at that finish.
I'm trying to get the best angle I can here.
Yeah, 3/1000ths of a second. Just incredible.
That's hard to quantify on a camera, but there it is.
Yep. They got it right. Timing and scoring doesn't lie, Bradley. But wow. And Brewer all the way down here below the line after the contact with, you move that finish line 15 feet up further or closer. I think Dabney's your winner. But Judson just had more momentum because I think of Brewer and Dabney hitting each other that it was just enough to regain the lead. Because I was looking at the ticker and Dabney had it all the way about until, just the last hair there. Man, it doesn't get much closer than that.
No, it does not. Here is the best angle I can give you across the start-finish line. And you see the door bangs and everybody kind of pinballing around. And right here, Dabney has the win. But then you pause it, and it's just that momentum across that stripe. Right there. You can see the splitter just touching the start-finish line. Man.
This will be one to talk about for quite a while, Bradley. It's not too often that you get a finish like this. And you said, right, this takes the record for the closest finish in V-Speed history. So how about that? And Judson Curtis probably couldn't be more thrilled. He won at Daytona in Season 2, and now he does it again. Season 3 at Talladega, his second career win in the SNR Challenger Series.
Those race interviews with your top 3 and those final race results in just a moment's time. Judson Curtis, Tad Dabney, Philip Brewer going to be up in the booth. This was Talladega for Saturday Night Racing League. More coverage continues post-race on V-Speed. We'll be back.
JS JS Racing. We're in the game.
Gentlemen, start your engine!
Drivers, start your printers.
To keep pace with the ever-changing landscape of marketing and advertising, let Clark Print Shop help you spot the trends and keep you in front of the pack with all your color printing needs. From business cards to invitations, menus to mugs, we can print anything you need on paper or your choice of over 3,000 promotional items. Visit www.clarkprintshop.com to browse our online catalog and place your order today, or call us at 276-889-3426. For a limited time, use the code iRacing for 23% off your first purchase. The staff at Clark Print Shop looks forward to handling all your color printing needs.
Walking and Rolling Costumes started when my son Reese was born with cancer.
So when I was 3 years old, I got my first wheelchair.
And he wanted to be Wall-E for Halloween that year. And so I knew you couldn't buy a costume to go on a wheelchair at that time. So I knew I had to build one.
My dad ended up building a Wall-E costume out of a Dell computer box.
When we were all finished, he loved it. We took pictures of it and shared it on social media. So many people started sharing it that we started getting requests from people we didn't know.
In 2015, we decided to build them for other kids because people were asking, hey, can you build them for my kid?
So we started the nonprofit organization, Walking and Rolling Costumes, and we build costumes for kids all over the nation, free of charge to the families.
JS Racing. We're in the game.
Welcome back here to Saturday Night Racing League and a historical finish, the closest one we've witnessed here on V-Speed, 3/1000ths of a second. Tad Dabney and Judson Curtis go back and forth. It was Philip Brewer on the inside. Photo finish across the line. And we got quite a few replays that we went back on. If you want to go back, that's the one to watch here this week. And man, what a fantastic race. We followed that up. Jeff, we were talking about it there for a moment with the SF23. How are we going to top that? Watkins Glen finishing out the championship last lap pass. Well, they did it.
Yeah, I tuned into that race a little bit earlier, and I didn't quite see the finish until you told me to go back and watch it. And yeah, you and Logan Threlko did a phenomenal job with that race. And I told you before the race, I'm like, you know, we're going to have something to live up to tonight. And I think the SNR Challenger Series here at Talladega did just that tonight, with Judson Curtis taking the victory, 3/1000ths of a second. It don't get better than that.
And Dabney just behind there. We'll get a word with Philip Brewer, Curtis, and Dabney in just a moment's time. It's Max Cost, 0.5 of a second back from this after that late caution. Re-racked the field. Then we had some wrecks after that. The white flag was already out. Max Cost loses the draft. Jared Skinner, my pick here tonight, gets a top 5. Then it's Bryce Shoemaker with 6th position. Chuck Sweeting is going to finish in 7th. Got Keith Shoemaker, Chris Hodges, Jordan Trask, who started on the pole to round out your top 10.
Finishing in 11th tonight is Broderick Vaglavic in that 07. Justin Ritchie, he found himself up towards the front there late. he will unfortunately settle for 12th. Same thing really with Matt Radford there in 13th and Noah Maholski in 14th. You got Craig Martin there in the number 15 finishing position. John Sanu, 16th. Ben Laughter, we talked to him on the final restart there before we went green, and just unfortunately it didn't work out for him. He settles for 17th. Brandon Wallace, I believe, got caught up in some pit lane speeding penalties, maybe. I think he got caught up in a wreck as well. And Mark McFadden, 19th there. Mark led some laps tonight, was having a phenomenal race. And then, unfortunately, things went wrong there, battling for the lead. A 3-wide situation. He gets the short stick on that one. And then Hunter Sr. was up front all night until he got caught up in some incidents.
4 more cars to talk about with Benjamin Richards in the 56. And apologize to that. I forgot Tony's name last week, so I guess it's fitting that I forget that name as well. More afraid of Tony, if we're being honest. I've said that before. Chris Rude's going to finish in 22nd. Nick Hapiak in the 06. He was the friend out there for Juicy Spider, but he ends up finishing 23rd. And Austin Belke, with a speeding penalty down pit road, decided to park it. He will round out your field. Now it's time to bring up drivers for this post race, and it's the winner here, Judson Curtis in the number 29. 3/1000th of a second, Judson. You broke the record for the closest finish. It was 4/1000th, so you beat it by 1, and you are number 1. Victory lane here for the 29.
Yes, sir. I'm ecstatic. Honestly, I feel like this season has been just complete garbage for the JTM Motorsports 29. So it's good to bring home a trophy for the Lone Star Beer Chevrolet. So it's what it's all about right here.
We go back to the beginning of this race. You started back in the 12th position. Were you part of that group? I feel like you were at some point, of drivers that wanted to just kind of bide their time, kind of wait it out, maybe sandbag a little bit and sit back, let this race develop and come up here and snag it away at the very end.
I was at first. I was trying to kind of just help my teammate situation with Jordan and just kind of trying to get up there and lead some laps and get him some points. But I felt like every time that happened, we would just, the flip-flop scenario would get reversed and he'd wind up pushing me. I just tried to keep the nose clean, and somehow we wound up, at the end in the right place, right time. We'll bring it home. So I'm happy with it. We'll take it, man.
Well, happiness only gets you so far in this series. And, the competitiveness, we talked a little bit about how competitive it is, but also the unique skill set it takes to get around a track like this. It's not like when you're going to Las Vegas or Bristol, Watkins Glen, the tracks, the varieties. Super Speedway racing is its own mindset, and you bested it here today.
Yeah, I appreciate it, fellas. You definitely kind of have to get a feel for the vibe of the track and, the pack, and let luck do its thing and see where y'all are in the end and see who has the fastest horses.
The fastest horses on the 29. Congratulations on the victory. And I know you've got a lot of people supporting you here. Go ahead and shout them out.
Yes, sir. I'd like to obviously thank Lone Star Beer, the National Beer of Texas, here for awesome support and good-looking car. AMR Paintworks, Driveway Matinee, Hart Motorsports, Texas Cigar Rollers, and my wife and son and my mom and dad. Thank you all. V-Speed for the amazing broadcast and all the amazing sponsors. Thank you so very much.
Came in 10th in points here tonight. And I said it right here that we were going to see another first-time winner this season. Judson Curtis in Victory Lane. Congratulations.
Thank y'all.
I wouldn't say a first-time winner. It is the first time this season. But Judson Curtis has been to Victory Lane before. Congratulations to him, though. I mean, that's a tough accomplishment when you get a victory here. I think that, league racing, Saturday night racing, it doesn't get the kind of notoriety that it deserves, because I've seen some racing in here, Jeff, that rivals some of the top split action.
Yeah, it's tough to win here for sure, no doubt. And Judson Curtis, now on super speedways, has done it twice. He won here in season 2 at Talladega, does it here season 3, or he won, season 2 Daytona, does it again here season 3 of Talladega. And I just looked it up briefly. I was curious. It was 340 days between his 2 wins. And this one, definitely probably the most exciting one. Closest finish on V-Speed. yeah, almost a full year. So I'm sure he's happy, but also relieved to be back to victory lane. Moving on now to our second place finisher. It's going to be Tad Dabney in that number 9 machine. And Tad, what an exciting finish. I know you wanted to be on the other end of it. The closest finish in V Speed history. Can you believe that? Walk us through the final lap there. You find yourself in the lead. You got Brewer behind you. You got Judson Curtis behind you, trying to figure out how to hold him off. Is there anything that you would have done a little bit differently there on the final lap?
Yeah, I probably would have gone up there and maybe stuck with Judson, but I saw Philip get a really good run behind me, so I decided to try to kind of pinch him down a little bit, and then he went down below the yellow line, and like me and him were talking, he was trying to get back up, and so when he kind of bumped me back up, I kind of pushed him back down, and we just ended up ping ponging with each other and just let Judson know he was ahead. But no, I'm happy where I finished. I mean, yeah, I wish I could have finished first, but that was a heck of a ending.
Yeah, absolutely. Super exciting finish. Bradley and I had, just a phenomenal time calling this race as a whole, but then, yeah, the finish to top it off, it doesn't get better than that. Tab, earlier this season, you posted your best finish at Martinsville with an 8th place finish. Tonight here at Talladega, you get a little bit better there. 2nd place, it's not the win that you wanted, right? We're still going to be going for that and hopefully to get that in seasons to come. But 2nd place got to feel good tonight, right? With the season that you've had and coming out here at Talladega. Sometimes really all you can do here is ask for a chance with as crazy as it is. So I imagine despite not getting that win, 2nd still has to feel pretty good.
Yeah, because this season's been up and down for sure. And even this race was up and down because when pit cycles started happening, I went on pit road and absolutely missed my pit box. So I had to back up into it, and I lost all the packs. And it just so happened that when the pack caught me right before they were about to pass me, something happened in the middle pack and they got in a wreck. And if it wasn't for that, I wouldn't have been where I am now, finishing 2nd. But yeah, first would have been good, but 2nd place sure feels really good.
And you're a part of
This season.
history, as we mentioned too, with the closest finish in V Speed history. So you have that as well. Real quick though, Tad, before we let you go, is there anybody you want to thank or give a shout out to for tonight's performance?
Yeah, I want to give a shout out to JTM for picking me up at the beginning of the season, and Joseph, he does a really good job of coaching me. I also want to give a shout out to really everybody, all the racers in SNR, week in, week out. We all try to do our very best to race clean and be very competitive. So it's really made me grow as a driver. So, yeah.
2nd place tonight, Tad. Congratulations, and thanks for talking with us.
Thank you.
So that was Tad Dabney there in the number 9. Oh, so close, Bradley, to his first career victory. He'll have to wait for another opportunity. But moving on to our 3rd place finisher tonight, and it's your points leader coming into tonight, Bradley. He probably just wanted to survive, but had a chance to win it all there at the very end.
I really appreciate that the chrome is still on that car that I painted. Philip Brewer, you had a moment there in that 2nd to last restart where I thought you were gonna hit the wall. You were sideways, you bounced off the 00. I don't know how you saved that car, but somehow you kept it in it. And then you come out here with a chance to win the race on top of that and be part of what is 400ths, 500ths of a second. And then you look at 3,000ths of a second. It was a close finish, bouncing the doors. Phenomenal race here tonight.
Yeah, that was pretty wild. I mean, my plan was just to sit in the back and see what happens. And then stuff happened. Everybody wrecked. Ended up 8th. So I'm like, all right, might as well just go. And yeah, I mean, that first wreck I was in, that was just pure luck. I got pushed high, tried to come back down, got turned, and then Craig Martin just saved my day by being there. And that kept me straight. And then that last wreck, it was just like the seas parted. I just kept my foot down and went. And I planned on just pushing Tad to the wind, but then he kind of drifted up, and I thought Judson was going to push him. And so I just went, and then he came back down and just beat some doors till the end. That was pretty damn fun.
It was an excellent finish. I mean, the excitement in our voice. I think I probably shouted a little bit too loud at the tail end of this thing. I asked Jeff if he ever gets annoyed with how loud I get, but the cadence was there. The racing was there. That's the most important part. And again, it goes down as one of those historical finishes. It's the closest finish we've had on V-Speed. It used to be 4 1,000ths. It's now 3. And I don't know how you guys can top that. But, we questioned that prior to this race with the SF23 in the last lap at Watkins Glen. You guys definitely topped it tonight.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy. I mean, I'm just happy to be a part of it. Happy to pull some points on the championship. That was the big goal coming in. I mean, but I'm sure we'll get a closer one here in the future.
Well, that's the factor coming in with the 6 wins. Now a podium finish. This one's out of the way. You've got Dover coming up next week. Philip Brewer, congratulations on what has been a stellar season. We'll look forward to seeing you again at Talladega in just a moment's time. Anybody you want to thank?
Shout out my FireStorm teammates. Been fun racing with them this season. Shout out to you, Bradley. It was a great post scheme. Glad I didn't destroy it today. And shout out all the SNR admins. I have fun every week.
Philip Brewer, 3rd place finisher here at Talladega. Just less than half a tenth as we come to the finish line. And a lot of door touches, but able to keep it together. And we'll see you in just about 30 minutes time.
Yep. See ya.
Well, Jeff, that was a fun one. I hope that the Cup Series can put on just as equal of a show as that. And by some miracle, if they find 0.02 of a second at the finish line, that would be incredible. The Gen 4 stock car about to go live in just a moment's time. What are your final thoughts here before we let you go and get some practice?
Yeah, super fun race and obviously awesome finish. You can't ask really much better than that. I guess the Cup Series can try to tonight, Bradley, but I think that's a tall task. Big congrats to Judson Curtis with the win, edging it out there, in the final laps. Tad Dabney, his best career finish in the Challenger Series. That has to feel great. And then Philip Brewer, I think, the big story, right? He survived Talladega. He gets through this race with a solid points lead. He goes into next week, 24 points up on the competition. That's going to be tough for anybody to overcome. I think Philip Brewer has really solidified himself now as the favorite. Something terrible is going to have to happen, I feel like, for him to lose the championship. So probably a sigh of relief from him tonight to get 3rd, but also at the same time having a chance to win it. That was a pretty cool finish as well.
You can catch the next race for the Saturday Night Racing League at Dover Motor Speedway. We'll also have the Cup Series coming up in about 30 minutes exactly. So we'll see Talladega again on the docket. Back-to-back at Super Speedways. Jeff Wright, co-commentary. Dougie Beard with the cameras here, the beautiful angles. We'll see him again in just a moment's time. For Adam Baker, all the things he does in the background, Morgan Cook, Eddie Smith, Logan Threlkeld, Alex Gagnon, all of the other producers over at Goat Locker, and the names, the list gets longer and longer. This is Bradley Cooper saying so long from Talladega for just a moment. We'll see you in 30 minutes time for the Cup Series. Stay tracking, everybody.